Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into the quiet streets of Macon, Georgia, where the promising life of a young law student took a tragic and mysterious turn. This is the story of Lauren Teresa Giddings, a journey that started with dreams of a bright legal career but ended in a harrowing tale of crime, deceit, and unimaginable tragedy. Lauren Giddings was a shining star, full of ambition and intelligence, just steps away from achieving her dreams. But beneath the peaceful exterior of her neighborhood, dark secrets lurked, leading to a chain of events no one could have predicted. Lauren Teresa Giddings was born on April 18, 1984, in Tacoma Park, Maryland, to William Bill and Karen Payne Giddings. She grew up in Laurel, a suburban community perfectly situated between Washington and Baltimore. Lauren shared her childhood home with her two younger sisters, Caitlin and Sarah. Lauren was deeply involved in her community and a committed member of St. Mary of the Mills Catholic Church. Her early education took place at St. Mary's School, where she attended from kindergarten through 8th grade. She later graduated from Atholton High School in Columbia in 2002, where she left her mark not only in academics but also on the field, playing both hockey and softball. Eager to pursue higher education, Lauren ventured to Decatur, Georgia, in the same year, enrolling at Agnes Scott College. At Agnes Scott, she majored in political science and minored in religious studies, all while actively participating in the college's softball team. In 2006, Lauren proudly graduated, becoming the first in her family to earn a college degree, a moment of immense pride for her parents. Reflecting on Lauren's transformation during college, her sister Caitlin shared, "She really blossomed in college. She became loud and fun, something we didn't see as much in high school." It was clear that as Lauren grew older, her confidence flourished, and she was becoming a poised and intelligent woman, ready to make her mark in the world. After completing her undergraduate studies, Lauren returned home and initially took a job with the National Center for Public Policy in Washington, D.C. However, in 2008, she decided to follow her passion and pursue a career in law. She enrolled in Mercer University's Walter F. George School of Law, where she quickly became involved, taking on the role of president of the Federalist Society. On May 14, 2011, Lauren achieved a significant milestone. She earned her Juris Doctor degree. Lauren's dream was to become a public defender, driven by a genuine desire to help others. With her signature blonde hair and a fondness for wearing pink, Lauren was a vibrant personality. She adored animals, especially her beloved Pekingese dog, Butterbean, who was always by her side. Lauren's kindness and popularity were well known among her friends and family, who often recalled how she made an effort to reach out to those who were socially isolated. She had a unique gift of seeing the good in everyone, a virtue that, tragically, may have led her to become the target of a horrifying crime. By June 2011, Lauren was eagerly looking forward to her future. At 27 years old, she had just graduated from Mercer University in Georgia, having dedicated 7 grueling years to studying law. The road had been long, marked by stress and exhaustion, but Lauren's determination to become a criminal lawyer kept her going. With graduation behind her, only one major challenge remained: passing the bar exam. Like many of her peers, Lauren chose to stay in Macon after graduation instead of returning to her hometown in Baltimore. Her apartment was conveniently located just across from Mercer University, which allowed her to focus entirely on her studies without any distractions. Recently graduated, Lauren and her friends decided to enjoy one last night of fun before diving into their bar exam preparations. On the night of Friday, June 24, 2011, they gathered at a local bar for an evening of celebration. Lauren spent the night at her friend Ashley's house, along with other members of their friend group. During the night, Lauren confided in her friends about a disturbing suspicion she had. She thought she was being stalked. She shared unsettling stories of coming home to find things in her apartment rearranged, a fear she had first mentioned to her sister a year earlier. On one occasion, a friend told her they had seen someone peering into her apartment window using a large stick with a camera attached, aimed at her second-floor window. The night before her tragic end, Lauren sent an email to her boyfriend, David Vandiver, expressing her fear that someone was breaking into her apartment. Despite her fear, she reassured David that she would be moving out that week and was determined to stay safe until then. In the same email, Lauren also shared her hopes and excitement for the future. That night, Joe, Lauren's ex-boyfriend and Ashley's roommate, was also at the gathering. Lauren ended up spending the night in Joe's room, but what happened behind those closed doors remains a mystery. The next morning, after the night of celebration, Lauren left Ashley's house. Although her friends didn't see her leave, Joe claimed to have witnessed her departure. Sadly, that was the last time anyone saw or heard from Lauren. In the days that followed, Lauren's absence would become a source of deep concern and fear among her friends and family. A disconcerting silence surrounded Lauren as no one heard from her given her close ties with her family and regular communication. They initially attributed her absence to her prior warning that she would be immersed in studying for the bar exam and likely unavailable for the next few weeks. Lauren had even taken the step of leaving her beloved dog Butterbean at her parents' house to eliminate distractions and wholly concentrate on exam preparations. Consequently, her family wasn't overly alarmed when days passed without any communication from Lauren. However, as days passed with no word from Lauren, her family began to grow uneasy. Her sister, in particular, started to worry. She recalled the last text exchange they had on the night of the celebration and realized, days later, that Lauren had never responded. This silence was out of character and only deepened their concern, prompting them to look more closely into what might have happened to Lauren. On June 30, 2011, Lauren's friend Ashley, who hadn't received any replies to her texts over the past few days, decided to check on Lauren. She went to Lauren's apartment and knocked on the door, but there was no answer. Concern turned into worry when her calls to Lauren's phone also went unanswered, a stark contrast to Lauren's usual studious and responsible nature. Sensing that something was wrong, Ashley contacted Lauren's sister Caitlin to ask if Lauren might be at her parents' house. To everyone's surprise and alarm, Lauren had never made it to her parents' home. Armed with a spare key to Lauren's apartment, Ashley, along with a few friends, entered the residence. By this time, days had passed with no communication from Lauren. The situation was made even more concerning by the fact that Lauren was supposed to move in with her boyfriend, David, who lived an hour away, the very next day. Inside the apartment, they found signs that Lauren had started packing but hadn't finished. Her phone, keys, and other personal belongings were still there, and her car remained parked outside. Ashley and her friends waited, hoping Lauren would return, but she never did. The eerie circumstances surrounding her absence only raised more questions than answers. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Ashley immediately contacted Lauren's family to share the disturbing news. Lauren's father, driven by fear and concern, embarked on an 11-hour drive to his daughter's apartment, desperate to find her. Meanwhile, the police were notified, and Lauren's case was escalated to a missing person investigation. Given the circumstances, both David, her boyfriend, and Joe, her ex-boyfriend, who was the last person known to have seen her, came under immediate scrutiny as potential suspects. Despite Joe's cooperation and his claim that Lauren had left early that morning to go to the pool, suspicions lingered. The police reviewed Lauren's credit card statements and found a record of an entry fee for a pool at a country club that morning, as well as a receipt from a fast food restaurant later that night. The investigation took a darker turn when police examined Lauren's computer and found an email she had sent to David. In the email, she expressed her fear that someone had tried to break into her apartment the night before while she was out, a chilling revelation that intensified concerns about her safety. Upon entering Lauren's apartment, the police found no signs of a struggle or forced entry, and nothing appeared to be stolen or missing. However, a sense of unease prompted the police to take the investigation further. They brought in a crime lab tech team to use luminol, a chemical that reacts with blood, to search for hidden evidence. The breakthrough came in Lauren's bathroom, where the luminol reacted strongly, lighting up the space like a Christmas tree. Blood splatters were found covering the bathtub, smeared across the floor, and sprayed up the walls. This horrifying discovery left the police with a chilling realization. They were no longer searching for a missing person, but for a crime scene involving a potential body. While inside the apartment, detectives noticed a foul odor, which one of them recognized immediately. he commented. While we were standing there, the wind started to turn, and I smelled an odor I was familiar with. We all smell things in life that are bad, but the smell of a body or a decomposing body is one of the worst, and it has a very distinctive smell. Following the unmistakable scent of death, the detectives traced it to a large barrel containing 2 trash bags. The first bag contained only refuse, offering no significant clues. However, the second bag revealed a gruesome discovery: the torso of a white female. The body, wrapped in plastic, had been dismembered, with the head, legs, and arms missing. Faced with this horrifying scene, the police decided not to immediately inform the family, as they had yet to conclusively identify the remains as Lauren Giddings. Unfortunately, news of the torso's discovery leaked to a media outlet, sparking widespread awareness. Subsequent DNA analysis confirmed the tragic truth. The body indeed belonged to law student Lauren Giddings. The brutal murder of a cherished member of the Mercer Law School community was shocking on its own, but as friends began sharing their accounts, a disturbing pattern emerged. Recollections surfaced, revealing that Lauren had, with a sense of unease, hinted at being stalked over the past year. In conversations with friends, she confided in the unsettling belief that someone was covertly observing her in her apartment, even going so far as to rearrange things when she was away. These revelations added an alarming layer to the tragedy, underscoring the distress Lauren had experienced leading up to the heinous crime. As news spread that most of Lauren's body had been discovered, a wave of panic swept through the community, amplifying concerns that a potential killer was still at large. Reporters quickly descended upon the apartment complex, seeking interviews and adding to the growing unease. Responding to the escalating situation, the police expanded their initial search from the immediate neighborhood to a radius of 10 blocks around the apartments, hoping to uncover crucial clues to solve the homicide. Over the following week, the search extended to various locations, including in and around the apartments, along the Okmulgee River, at Macon's landfill, and in drains and sewers near the crime scene, all in a desperate attempt to locate the missing body parts. With 16 apartments in the block where Lauren resided, news stations swarmed the crime scene, eager to gather information. Among those interviewed was Stephen McDaniel, Lauren's next-door neighbor and fellow law student. Though perceived as somewhat eccentric, Stephen appeared genuinely concerned for his neighbor and classmate during the interviews. During a field interview, a reporter questioned Stephen about his reaction to the discovery of a body in the area, and his response was nothing short of peculiar. Upon hearing the word body, Stephen entered a disoriented state, repeating the word while blinking and staring off into space. Concerned by his unusual reaction, the police decided to bring him in for questioning. Throughout the interrogation, Stephen remained dissociated for a considerable period. When the police requested to inspect his apartment, Stephen consented. During the search, they uncovered a stack of condoms in his dresser, a discovery that contradicted his previous claim to investigators that he was a virgin saving himself for marriage. In response, Stephen asserted that he had stolen the condoms from various apartments he had burglarized. Consequently, the police detained him on burglary charges. Further investigations revealed that Stephen possessed a master key to all the apartments in the complex, including one for Lauren's residence. In a startling turn, the police discovered a hacksaw in the maintenance room with traces of Lauren's blood on it. When interrogated, the maintenance man claimed no knowledge of the tool. Subsequently, the police found the hacksaw's packaging in Stephen's apartment, leading them to suspect that, with his master key, he had planted the hacksaw in the maintenance room. In addition to these alarming discoveries, the police stumbled upon a pair of panties belonging to Lauren during their search of Stephen's apartment, further intensifying the evidence against him. They also uncovered numerous disturbing internet blog posts written by Stephen, detailing themes of torture and violence towards women. To compound matters, a flash drive was found containing explicit child pornography. The investigation revealed that Stephen possessed a trove of Lauren's photos on the flash drive, coupled with evidence suggesting he frequently visited her social media pages. His search history depicted a disturbing pattern, where he engaged in viewing violent pornography while simultaneously perusing Lauren's pictures on social media. The extent of his obsession became clearer when the police managed to recover deleted footage secretly filmed by Stephen, capturing moments of Lauren's life from an external vantage point. The sheer volume of evidence surpassed 200 pieces, collectively painting a vivid picture of his dark obsession and involvement in her murder. As the investigation unfolded, all signs pointed to Stephen McDaniel as the prime suspect in Lauren Giddings' tragic murder. Evidence revealed that Stephen had been stalking Lauren for a long time, secretly gathering numerous images, videos from inside her apartment, and obsessively monitoring her social media profiles. Although Lauren had maintained a friendly relationship with Stephen, it became clear that he harbored an intense and unreciprocated obsession with her. There was a moment when Stephen mustered the courage to ask Lauren out on a date, only to face a polite refusal from her. Unbeknownst to Lauren, she had lingering suspicions about strange occurrences in her apartment, not realizing that Stephen was behind them. When Stephen was arrested, he was brought in for questioning. However, at the police station, he seemed like a different person from the one who had earlier engaged with the news anchor. During more than 2 hours of interrogation, Stephen remained in a trance-like state, offering minimal responses and consistently denying any involvement in the crime. Some suspected this behavior to be an act, while others considered the possibility of a mental breakdown. It was only due to a fortunate delay in garbage collection that Lauren's body had not been discarded with the trash. During his interview, Stephen seemed unaware of this delay, mistakenly believing that Lauren's body had already been disposed of, which may have alleviated the urgency of the situation in his mind. In August, just a month after the discovery of Lauren Giddings' remains, Stephen McDaniel faced first-degree murder charges. Despite initially maintaining his innocence, he eventually changed his plea to guilty, recognizing the overwhelming evidence against him. During the trial, Stephen attempted to mount a defense, claiming that his rights were violated during his arrest. Drawing on his legal education, he accused the police of using improper interrogation techniques and intimidation, and claimed that he was denied adequate medical care while also being insulted and yelled at. As part of the plea deal, Stephen agreed to provide the court with a detailed account of the events on the night of Lauren's murder. In exchange for his cooperation, charges related to other offenses were dropped. In his confession, Stephen detailed how, on that fateful night, he waited for Lauren to fall asleep before using his master key to enter her apartment around 4:30 a.m. Once inside, he silently entered her bedroom and stood observing her as she slept. However, an unfortunate creak from a squeaky floorboard startled Lauren awake. When he approached her bed, Lauren, remaining calm, told him to leave immediately. In response to her resistance, Stephen grabbed her around the throat, leading to a struggle that resulted in both of them falling from the bed to the floor. During the struggle, Lauren's legs and lower body became wedged under the bed, preventing her from escaping or kicking him away. Despite Stephen's attempts to present a version of events suggesting self-defense, the compelling evidence and his admission to the murder were enough for both the jury and the judge to render a guilty verdict. Additionally, Stephen disclosed that he had repeatedly asked Lauren out, but each time she rejected his advances, as she was in a happy relationship and had no romantic interest in him. Unable to cope with the rejection, he began to plan the horrific murder. During the assault, Stephen had concealed his identity with a mask, but during the struggle, Lauren managed to remove it, revealing his face. Upon recognizing him, she pleaded, "Stephen, please stop." Unfortunately, her plea went unanswered. Stephen recounted that it took approximately 15 minutes for Lauren to succumb to the attack. After her death, he dragged her body into the bathroom, left her apartment, and returned to his own. He spent the entire day on the internet before revisiting Lauren's apartment in the evening with a hacksaw. It was then that he proceeded to dismember her. In a chilling disclosure to his lawyer, Stephen admitted to meticulously severing each of Lauren's fingers and flushing them down the toilet. He placed the remaining body parts in black trash bags and disposed of them in various dumpsters. Tragically, some of these dumpsters had already been emptied, making it impossible to recover all of Lauren's body. The motive behind the attack seemed to stem from Lauren's impending move, scheduled for the following day. Stephen, unable to bear the thought of losing her presence in his life, acted out in a horrific manner. On April 21, 2012, Stephen McDaniel was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Despite his attempt to appeal the sentence in 2018, the Richmond County Superior Court dismissed his appeal. He will not be eligible for parole until 2041. Lauren's untimely death left a profound impact on her family and friends. The pain they carry serves as a somber reminder of the horrific crime that shattered the peace of their community. In the aftermath, the community came together to support one another, to remember Lauren's vibrant spirit, and to advocate for safety and awareness in the face of the unexpected. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Crime Stories channel.